Let me begin with a simple question. What is that one thing all the CXOs in this room need to succeed? Freedom to act. Whether you are planning for a market expansion, launching a new product, recruiting top talent, or negotiating with your customer, the freedom to act, the financial freedom, makes you execute without any delay or compromise. That is liquidity. Dynamic liquidity management is not a finance discipline, but it is an organization's ability to act with confidence. Hi, I am Vidya Venkatachallam. I have 2 decades of experience as a finance professional and having turned around a 300 crore debt-ridden enterprise into a cash-rich company within a span of 2 years. I would like to share some of my thoughts with respect to dynamic liquidity management. What it really means. Liquidity is not having cash in the bank. When revenue is your horsepower and profit is the speed, liquidity is the engine oil for the organization. Liquidity keeps the engine running without shutting down. So dynamic liquidity management means we anticipate before the fire erupts. It is not about seeing the cash today, but it is about the decision what may appear in the next quarter and in the next year. The difference is when you are looking at the rear view mirror versus the road ahead, say 2 kilometers ahead. Why it really matters for every CXO in the room. Think of it in your world. If you are a CEO, liquidity provides that strategic agility. It enables you to decide for any acquisition when the opportunity appears rather than waiting for the money to come in. If you are a COO, it gives you the supply chain strength. It determines how you negotiate, whether with power or dependency. If you are a CTO, it determines the pace of the transformation. A brilliant digital roadmap may fail if it is not funded on a timely basis. As a CHRO, you can retain and acquire critical talents when the market turns. As business heads, liquidity is your negotiating muscle. It makes you decide when to say yes to which customer and at what price. So when we implement dynamic liquidity management, we all accelerate. How we do it as an enterprise. Think of liquidity like a high performance relay race. Forecasting is the baton that moves ahead of the runner. Visibility is the clear lane that lets you run without collision. Scenario planning is rehearsal. You have already practiced what to be done if something goes wrong, if someone blocks your lane, or if the track is slippery. Technology gives you the timing system. It determines when to catch up speed or when to slow down. So the real-time data, predictive models, and a strong relationship with the bankers gives you the edge over the dynamic liquidity management. Because if the baton falls, if the cash stops even for a moment, the race is over. In my experience, I have implemented effective dynamic liquidity management by exploring alternative low-cost funding options, by negotiating with the customers and suppliers for credit period rationalization, enabling the operations to maintain optimum level of inventories, collecting advances from the customers, or at the least having a minimal overdue receivables. Even more, convincing the customers for collecting upfront compensation for research and development and tooling cost. As a CFO, my job is to ensure we never run out of fuel at the midpoint of the climb. I cannot do this alone. Dynamic liquidity management is not just a finance KPI. It is a leadership mindset. When each CXO has the eye for a dynamic liquidity awareness, the company doesn't just survive the volatility, but it uses the volatility to win. So let me close with my final thoughts. A company that controls liquidity does not wait for luck. It creates opportunities. It does not ask, can we afford this decision? But they say with confidence, we are ready because we saw it coming. This is the power of dynamic liquidity management. Revenue may be your strength, but liquidity management is real leadership. Thank you.